I was born in a family full of drunkards. Beer was not an issue where I was born and where I come from. So when I grew up, we used to steal beer and drink it. But when I got married, I married a man who was a Zion, and he didn't drink, and I stopped drinking. And when things got tough in my marriage, when we were about to divorce, I chose beer as my comforter. Since I thought it was the answer to all my problems, I started drinking, and I was wild in those days. I could go everywhere to drink, and in those times, I got a little comfort, but it didn't help because I was a failure in everything. And it spoiled my family, it spoiled my children, it spoiled my career. I couldn't do anything in that time. It affected my career in so many ways. When I started drinking, when I divorced, I was somewhere in Mashingo, that's where I was working. I started to be troublesome with other workers. If a worker insults me, I could fight, because in those times I could even carry beer in my handbag at work. I can go in the ladies in the toilet and I can drink beer. And I was so violent. I was not stable in everything that I did, and I was transferred to Mtare, and I couldn't be promoted because people were saying, Tagara, she's troublesome, and she drinks beer even during work hours. So I was never promoted. I tried to study, but I left everything because all I wanted was beer. I couldn't study. I couldn't do it, so I left and abandoned my studies in that time. When I met the man of God, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, and because of the crowds, how big the church is, I thought it was very, very impossible and difficult to see or to get an encounter with the man of God. So when the man of God taught us in a sermon to build home altars in our homes, I was weary, I lost hope. I was about to go back to my former church where I thought maybe I'll get love from the pastors because there are no crowds. I prayed that night and I built my altar, and I said to God of the great prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, choose for me the right church to go. If you are the only one God that you have prayed with the whole world, tell me either in a dream, which church should I go, my former church or UFIC? Then a week down the line after my prayer, I had a dream, a mysterious dream that was like a vision. I dreamt after a church service, when I was about to go home, I met Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, and I was shocked and amazed in that dream. And I said, how can I see the man of God alone? And he said, I'm here, my daughter. And I said, Father, where is the escort? Where is everyone? And he said, I'm here for you. And he said, come, my daughter, and I'll pray for you. And Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa prayed for me in that dream. And I started to manifest so many demons that I saw in the dreams. So many demons in my life were cast out in that dream. Then after that dream, the following morning, I had hope now. I had new strength now. That I think UFIC is the best church for me. I think UFIC is the church of God where my destiny is, where my life is going to be transformed. Then a month down the line, I got a long distance prophecy. I was prophesied. And the man of God started prophesying by saying, there's a lady called Tagara. This lady has made the right choice by coming to UFIC. Wow. This was a confirmation to my prayer, which I prayed alone secretly with my God. And I was amazed. And I said, this is a true man of God. This is a servant of God. I prayed alone and no one heard me. And now he's confirming the answers that I wanted in my prayer. So UFIC is my right church. In that prophecy that I got, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa said, there are 2 doors that are going to open for you in your life at the end of year. And I was happy. When I started to listen to the sermons of the men of God, I discovered that for the prophets to manifest, for the prophets to be fulfilled, it needs a cost, it needs you to work hard, it needs you to fight for your prophecy. That's when I started to do my studies, which I have abandoned with the encouragement of my pastor. He started to encourage me. And I started to do the studies. When I started the studies and abandoned them, I was not good at my studies. I was an average student. I couldn't make it, especially in business statistics. I was delivered with this anointing, and I started to understand everything, even statistics at degree level. I don't have A level, I have O levels, which I wrote 2 times. But to my amazement, this time I was understanding the courses that I was doing at degree level. And I passed and completed the course in human resources. And now I'm a graduate. And again, I completed another course that I have abandoned in my former church. I was doing theology, specializing in counseling and psychology. I again achieved, I'm a holder of a BA in theology and ministry, and specialized in counseling and psychology. So currently, because of the grace of our Father, the great prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, I'm now a holder of 3 degrees. Where I'm coming from, nobody does not have degrees. It's a miracle to me, because I got these degrees at 43 years. Where I thought I was a failure, I'd lost hope, I couldn't make it. But with this grace of our Father, the great prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, I've made it in life. From an alcoholic person and a confused person to a purpose-driven woman, I was changed through the ministry of Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you again. Nothing is called too late in life.